Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video I wanted to do an end of season recap of the 8 different Dream On bosses, the number 1 top team, and also keep a tally of how many times heroes are being used across all the 8 different Dream On bosses. This is of course going to be for endless difficulty teams because that is the stage we're at right now. So we're going to go ahead and move into my formations. All of my shared ones are going to be the top scoring team formations, and we're going to lead it off with Sigmund. So Sigmund was a bit of an interesting Dream On boss. I don't know if he's going to be coming back in the next season, but if he does, this is a boss where Rainier really shines because Rainier's debuff is going to remain on Sigmund even after Sigmund strips the buffs onto your allies. So buffers are less valuable for Sigmund, but debuffers, which increase your damage, are going to be more valuable. And that's why Rainier was used here, even in endless difficulty. We also had Chimera as a major damage source, and Pandora and even Ludovic. Pandora is a great endless damage dealer, same with Ludovic of course, and of course these heroes, their optimal charms are probably going to remain the same every single season, which are going to be Blast on Pandora, Insight Ludovic, and Butcher Chimera. These have always been the best for them, and probably in future seasons they're going to be the best to maximize their damage output. Okay, moving on to the next team, we have Plague Creeper. So Plague Creeper, the number 1 top team, was very pay to win, as you guys can see here. However, if you were not running this team, the second best team is going to be just a pure Baelran team. No Cryonaya, no Harok. But for players who have Cryonaya built and Harok built, this is the number 1 top team. And Cryonaya really can only work in Dream Realm when you pair her with Harok, because you need Harok to devour her after she gets off a couple of her ultimates. Otherwise, she's just going to tick down the clock too quickly and deny your own damage output. So that is really essential. But in this team, Baelran was also used, which is pretty crazy because Baelran usually would not work in these Harok Cryonaya teams. However, because of his great AoE damage, he was also really good for killing the Plague Rats for Plague Creeper. We don't know if this boss is going to be coming back next season. It very well could not. But even if it does, Baelran has always been good, and he just has really solid AoE damage. And if you do not have Harok or you do not have Cryonaya, the second best team is just a pure Baelran team. So Baelran definitely is a top hero for Plague Creeper. Harok, though, is needed for this number 1 top pay-to-win team, as you see here. And yeah, as for the charms, Harok is always either balanced or butcher. In pretty much every season, there's certain boss content where he wants one of the 2 charms. And so, like, you kind of have to end up going with both in the end. Cryonaya was on the Butcher Charms. That's kind of always the case. Okay, next up we have Thalassa. So Thalassa, the top team, is pretty interesting. Again, you're seeing the Pandora back again. Chimera again, still here. 3 for 3 so far. Chimera is just a great damage dealer, even for endless difficulty and also pre-endless. And this is why Chimera is like the most important hero for everyone to be building up. Ludovic and Pandora, great endless damage dealers. Damon as well, pretty decent damage and also the attack buff. And again, twins, of course. We don't even have to mention them. It's basically a given that in every Dream Realm top team, pre-endless, post-endless, you are going to be using twins in that team. It's just always the case because of how powerful their buffs are. And with the Dragon Roar artifact, yeah, this was the overall top team. Yeah, I mean, Damon was best on Mystic Charms throughout the season. So, like, again, if you're thinking about next season, what to get for him, probably Mystic Charms are going to be the way to go. Twins, for most comps, were the Sorcery Charms. However, occasionally Eagle Charms this season as well. Okay, so there we have that team. Next up, we have a team, Nocturne Judicator. Now, Nocturne Judicator is a very, very unique Dream Realm boss because you basically just have to buff up Midnight Hunter's damage as much as possible. This is a very weird boss mechanic, so I don't know if this is coming back next season, but if it does, then you just want a buffing comp. That's why every single hero here is just dedicated to buffing the Nocturne Judicator. You're not going to run any form of damage dealing. That's why Chimera, Ludovic, they're really good for endless damage as damage dealer options, but because you're just relying on buffing Midnight Hunter, they're not used here. So this is actually a little bit of a weird kind of boss, which is definitely skewing the results of the usage of heroes in endless difficulty. But here we have it. Valar is being used. She's a great buffer from her stat steal buff effect and also debuffer. Hugin also buffs with his shielding, and then of course Shakira twins and Kruger debuff onto the enemy. So yeah, that's a unique boss. I don't know, it could be coming back next season because we've just had it for 1 season, Nocturne Judicator. It could very well be coming back next season. Depends how many they add, how many new ones they add. So Necrodrakon. Necrodrakon is a Harok boss, of course. Necrodrakon is a perfect boss for Harok, but interestingly, there was a Baelran team which is second best, which is crazy because Necrodrakon is a boss geared for Harok. Harok is number 1 because he has mobility. He's the best mobility damage dealer, and you need that for Necrodrakon to dispel the debuffs onto your own team. But that's why it's crazy. Baelran, as a stationary damage dealer, still ended up almost competing with Harok, which is ridiculous. Necrodrakon, honestly, I feel like is going to be replaced in the next season. We've had Necrodrakon in the earliest launch, basically days of AFK Journey, but then it got phased out, and now it was added back in for this season. I would definitely think that it's going to be removed. But anyway, this is a boss for Harok. Harok is number 1 in Necrodrakon, as you guys can see. Even Fresser as well as food for Harok. And then you have the twins, of course, you always need them, and Rainier. Rainier synergizes really well with Harok because you can just eat Rainier for free, and also Rainier provides those useful buffs for the Harok. Okay, next up we have Crystal Beetle. Very interesting. Crystal Beetle. The interesting thing here is the top team is actually without Shamira. Even though Shamira is great as a damage dealer here, the other 3 are just better. And you kind of need to have Valara for that stat ceiling buff effect, and also debuff onto the boss. And you need to have the twins, of course. So then these 3 damage dealers, Ludovic, Pandora, Baelran, were just out damaging Shamira in this comp. And that's why Shamira is not here, but Baelran is here. And also Pandora and Ludovic, also dealing great endless damage, of course. And Baelran is on the inside charms. That will always be the case, even in future seasons. So, like, that's a really easy target to be crafting. Valara, it's kind of dependent. She had multiple charm, sometimes blast charms, sometimes mystic, sometimes sorcery. You kind of need to have all 3 sets, and that's probably going to be the same going forward in the future. And yeah, that is basically this Crystal Beetle. Interesting. I don't know if this is going to be coming back, because we've had Crystal Beetle for a few seasons right now. Then Illucia. So Illucia, we have to talk about this because basically they're 2 top teams. One is a Zany version, one is a Sinbad version. Both are basically competing for top ranks. The Zany one is much more consistent. The Sinbad one is much higher RNG, but with that RNG, when you hit it, you can get a higher score than the Zany comp. So both of them can be considered a top team. For me, I got my top score with Zany. I never was able to hit the RNG with Sinbad, which is just kind of the thing. But yeah, so Zany is good here, Sinbad is good here, and we can expect, if this boss is coming back in the future, both of them will probably be good for pre-endless as well. But I don't know if this is coming back, because again, we've had Illucia for a while. I could definitely see that this would be not coming back. But yeah, we had basically, you also have Smokey here for that damage, pretty good for endless difficulty. Valara as well here for that debuff and also stat stealing buff effect. And Sonya even. Sonya's actually seeing decent usage in the Necrodrakon top team, Illucia top team. She was in both of them for endless, which is pretty impressive because Sonya is not considered an endless hero. And then finally, we have the Crazed Shellbrute, which again is going to have Baelran. But the thing with Baelran, he's only endless. Shamira is like 3 out of 8 for the Dream Realm bosses, but she is also good in pre-endless. So like overall, Shamira is still a better damage dealer compared to Baelran for all Dream Realm considered. Damon was also used here. Again, he's a good endless damage dealer and a good buffer with the attack buff. And then you have the Ludovic as well, great endless damage dealer. Fresser was needed to be gulped, and then Twins, of course. So anyway, that is basically the recap of all the top heroes and the number of times they appeared across the top teams. So do keep in mind that even though Harok is being used twice, technically it's really just Necrodrakon and Plague Creeper. The second best team is a no Harok team. But if you have Harok and Krynaya both together, then you need to run them both together. So then he still is, and that's also why Krynaya being in 1 out of the 8 bosses is again kind of like, technically, yes. However, realistically, it doesn't make Krynaya a priority for anyone to build up. It's just kind of if you have her and if you have Harok, then you run them together in Plague Creeper. Otherwise, you run the no Krynaya version, which is just Baelran. But yeah, anyway guys, I hope this was helpful. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comment section down below. What are your speculations for the future? Do you think these heroes are going to remain? And which bosses do you think are going to be coming? Do you think all 3 Primal Lords we face this season, do you think they're all going to be added as bosses? Do you think any other bosses we face in this season, or even the Ravage Realm boss, do you think they will be added in Dream Realm? Because Thalassa was added in Dream Realm and she was a Ravage Realm boss, which is kind of crazy to think about. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you're not already a member of my AFK Journey Discord server, please join that. There's a link to that in the description of this video. And also, if you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, please use my affiliate link for the official Farlight store. There's a link to that in the description of this video and a pinned comment. This is the best way you can support me and also gain 5% bonus dragon crystals on your purchase. So thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video. And until then, everyone, peace out for now.